everyone and welcome back to the Be Nerdy Booktube channel. I'm Sophia and this is my April TBR. This also means it's the results for my OWLS, the OWLS Magical Readathon. It's a readathon hosted by G over at Book Roast. I will link her channel down below. It was a month-long readathon in preparation for the Newts, which will happen in August, and it was like amazing. It was one of the best experiences I ever had, and I really do hope to continue doing it. If you haven't watched, I have 4 parts of my vlogs during the whole readathon. I will link the playlist down below in case you guys want to watch it, just so you know how it all went down. So I started the readathon 5 days late. I only started it in April 5th, which was the first day, and honestly, over the course of those days, it was between April 5th and April 30th, I had a goal to go to all 12 prompts, and guess what? Drum rolls! I did it! I did complete all 12 prompts for the readathon. I read 15 books this month and a total page count for the readathon of 4,331 pages in total. That's freaking insane. So over the 15 books, 7 were mangas or comics or what you want to call it, but we'll go through them in order. And I did make some changes comparing to my initial TBR. I will also link it down below if you want to know what I was planning to read in the first place, but this is what I actually ended up reading. So my career was horror, and for that I had 5 main classes. So my first main class was Defense Against the Dark Arts, then Transfiguration, Charms, Potions, and Herbology. But I have them here like in the order I read them. Anyway, so for Defense Against the Dark Arts, it was a book which title started with R or the main word started with R. And for that, I initially was going to go with Ready Player One, but due to some last minute alterations, I ended up going with Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is a fictional book. We're following Nona, and she's basically sent to an academy of nuns to be trained to be an assassin. All I'm gonna say, I went in the book knowing next to nothing. All I knew, it was killing badass nuns. That was all I knew, and I gave this book a 3.75 out of 5 stars. And as I really enjoyed the book, I really enjoyed the story. The main character, Nona, she's complicated, but I really like her. And the main thing that bugged me about this book is the fighting scenes are so descriptive and so long. I mean, I don't need to know that the knife went flying through the air, shining like silver, and that the weather all around you was a bust, and that you had your feet wet in your boots as you saw the knife. And it was just over repeating information because we already knew the state of the weather and what they were going through. And you could say like oh, I saw the knife flying through the air, shining like silver. Nice, great. I don't need to know again that she's shaking in her boots and that the weather is bad. I don't need to know it twice. I can know it once. I remember. I don't have the memory span of a goldfish, which is about 3 seconds in case you didn't know. So that was the only thing that bugged me. I read this book half, oh, it wasn't half, okay, but I kept switching between the physical book and the audiobook because I was really, really desperate to finish this in time for the OWLS, and I only finished it yesterday after an hour sprint, so it was a rush. It was a rush to finish this bad boy, but I did it, and I'm so proud, and I can't wait to continue the series. Except for the fighting parts, because that annoys me. I like to see them fight. I don't need to know what color their pennies are. That's just it. Second book I have is Transfiguration, and I went with, the prompt for Transfiguration was red cover or sprayed edges, and I don't have any book with sprayed edges on my shelves. Just never really thought of buying one, I guess. I may have in the future the 20th anniversary editions of Harry Potter, but that's in the future. That wasn't for the readathon. And so I went with As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, sort of. The cover is red, like so yeah. So basically we're following Belle and the Beast. Normal story, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars just because there is some cool info on the backgrounds of Belle's mom, which is something that isn't like touched in the actual Disney version of it. So that was fun, but other than that, it just follows the Disney movie, and I was expecting more. So 3 out of 5 stars. It was a good book, but eh. Next up on my list, and I have them all written down here, I read Zodiac Star Force by Kevin Panetta. I'm gonna write the name of the author like somewhere around here. And I read this in 4 issues. It is on Goodreads as 4 issues, and I'm counting them as 4 books. So Zodiac Star Force is basically a group of girls which can transform, like they have powers according to their horoscope signs, and it was really fun. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because it took me back in time. Like, I remember being little, like 12 or something, and watching Winx and Witch, and that was exactly the vibe I got from Zodiac Star Force. It was really, really cool. I didn't read volume 2 just because I'm saving it for the newts in case Astronomy wants to prank me and I actually have time to do more than just my needed newts. Anyway, continuing on with Charms. Oh, by the way, the prompt for Astronomy was a book with star on the title. So for Charms, the prompt was an adult book, and I went with I Want You Gone by Miranda Risks. This is an adult thriller. It was an e-arc sent to me by NetGalley, so thank you so much for sending me. And basically we're following a real estate agent, and one day her daughter calls crying, saying, "Mom, on Facebook you appear as dead. Are you okay? Is everything fine?" And the mom is like, "Well, yeah, duh, I'm talking to you. Maybe it was just a mean joke." And when she gets home, her Facebook is normal. It's fine. Okay, no big deal. We're just gonna forget someone just tried to prank me, but whatever. A few days later, she gets to her work and she gets called to the boss's office, and they say, "Well, we found an obituary of you. So whatever the hell happens, you need to figure it out because this is hurting our company." And so we have someone spreading rumors that she's dead in the local newspaper. So basically we're following the main character, trying to figure out who the hell wants her dead that much, or that wants her gone that much, to believe that she's dead. So I gave this book, I don't know if it was a 4 or a 4 out of 5. I'll put it down below. But I really like this book. It was sort of predictable. I mean, I was around 10% when I guessed whodunit, but despite that, it was really, really cool. The investigation parts were somewhat realistic, and I really, really just liked it. I really, really did. Going forward, it was my potions exam, and the prompt was next ingredient, a sequel. And of course, I went with Hair of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is book number 3 in the Throne of Glass series. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really like the way Hair of Fire starts to open up the Throne of Glass world, and the way we see some character development allied to the world building and allied to plot development in terms of politics. It was really, really cool in that we actually met some new characters in here, and I have a new favorite. I love Selena, but I have a new favorite. I'm not gonna say who it is because I'm gonna spoil people, I think, so it's a secret. In the end, when I read all 7, I'm gonna put like a spoiler alert really big on the screen, and then I'm gonna tell it, and then I'm gonna put like spoiler N, and then yeah, but only then. But yeah, I really have a new favorite character, and Selena has grown a lot, and I really like to see her grow and to see that we're following her through this growth. If you want to know what the hell this is about, check some of my other videos. This is something I have been talking about constantly on my channel, so it's not going to be hard to find one. Moving on. The next one I have here is Arithmancy, and the prompt was a book written by 2 or more authors. And for that, I went with Gemina, written by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is book number 2 in the Illuminae files, and I read it exclusively as an audiobook, and I love the audiobook. I'm in love with the audiobook. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars just because I don't like one of the main characters. I really can't stand one of the main characters. I know she's a good person, but she's a bitch. I just can't stand it. There's just no way. So besides it's not hate, but I don't really like her. Besides my dislike with this character, this person, the audiobook is really, really well done. It is acted by a full cast, so it was really cool, and it had like ambience sounds, which was really great. Like there is one time during the whole book there was a virus in the computers that kept playing a song, and when they were in the elevators or anything, the song was playing in the background, and it was really, really cool. And there's like really in the beginning, when they're like writing stuff, you can hear the screen, not the screen, the keyboards in the background, and it's really cool. So basically in the first book we followed the attack on Carenza IV, and then the escape route of Hypatia, Alexander, and Copernicus. Now we're following everything that's going down in Jump Station Heimdall. That's basically it. I can't tell you anymore. And I can tell you a sneak peek that I started listening to Obsidio already, and I'm in love with it already because God, it's so good. And actually the character that I don't really like in Gemina is becoming my favorite person so far in Obsidio, just because she's sarcastic as hell. I really like that. And on the situation it is 5 stars. I really like it. Moving on. Herbology. This prompt had some switches over the course of the readathon, because initially I was going with one book, I'm gonna mention it later, but then I ended up going with a manga, and that is Vampire Knight Volume 1 by Matsuri Hino. This is the story of Yuki in the center, and Zero, and this is Kaname-kun. And basically, Yuri is the daughter of the headmaster Cross, and he is the headmaster of Cross Academy, and Cross Academy has two classes. You have the day class, which is normal class, and then you have the night class. And the night class has a secret, and that is that all people in the night class are vampires. And Yuki is one of the guardians of the night class. She and Yuki and Zero are the protectors, and they need to keep everyone in the day class safe, and they need to keep the secret of the night class. I have watched the anime. I had read this before. This was such a joy to read again, and I really can't wait to continue with the series because I know there are some twists coming up because I saw the anime, but I really liked it. And the prompt for herbology was plants on the cover, and there is a rose right here. So I am counting it for herbology. Next up, I have History of Magic, and the prompt was a book published 10 or more years ago. Initially, I was going to go with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I ran out of time because I was kind of in a slump between the third week and the beginning of this week, so I kind of lost some time. But I managed to do it with Vampire Knight Volume 2 by Matsuri Hino. It is a continuation of Volume 1. We're still following the same characters. It's just really a great story. I also gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now for my downfall of this readathon, and it was my Muggle Studies book. The prompt was to read a contemporary, and I have a love-hate relationship with contemporaries. Either I really love them, or I really hate them. And this was more on the hate side than on the love side. And it was Can't Beat the Chemistry by Kat Colmer. It was an e-arc, but I couldn't get to it on time. Basically, we're following MJ, and she is super smart, and she's taking college classes even though she's only in high school, and she is partnered up with a guy that's also really smart, and she wants to make him see that they could be more than just lab partners. But as fate will have it, there's Luke, and Luke is a drummer. He's taking music, but he also wants to take a science-y class to improve his career choice. If you are a teacher with a science-y course, basically you have a better chance at getting a job, and he's not doing so great in chemistry, and there's an arrangement, and MJ is teaching Luke. Now, I gave this book a 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's because MJ is a terrible character. I don't mean she's badly written, I just mean that I don't like her. MJ is selfish, she's immature, she's super judgy, and Luke is not so great either. I mean, he's super negative, and he's like, I'll do what I want, and if it works, fine. If it doesn't, what the hell? And they're an explosive mix, okay? It didn't work for me. I didn't like it. And it put me in a slump for the rest of the readathon, which, why I hate this book even more. Because I was going so freaking fine until I picked up this book. Yeah, that screwed everything up. Next up, we have Divination, and the prompt was to read a book set in the future. Now, originally I had Red Sister for this, but I ended up with going with Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I gave this book 5 stars. The vlog where I read this is already on. It's part number 1. It's like really in the first minutes. We're following Wade Watts in the year of 2052, and he and everyone else live in this place called OWLS, which is an online reality where everyone just basically lives because the real world sucks. And the creator of this reality is James Halliday, and James Halliday died. And he didn't have any heirs, but he left everything to the one who could actually accomplish a hunt, the egg hunt. And basically we're following Wade as he actually tries to go through the hunt. Now, I really like this book a bit more than the movie, but I really love both because we can see Wade's growth and culture growing. Like, he's not just immediately gifted at the 80s kind of style. He works and reads and studies a lot, and that's really great. Now, there are a lot of references of 80s pop culture, American, so I didn't get half of them because I wasn't born like until a decade later. And even though I do know some musics and some games, mainly games, there are some really obscure references here. So if you want to watch it, to read this and really get the full extent of it, maybe get some guide or anything to help. I don't know if there is such a thing, but if there is, read it so you can get the full extent of it. I really like it, and I didn't get half of the references, so yeah. We have 2 more prompts left, and the next one is Care of Magical Creatures. The prompt was to have a land animal on the cover. Originally, I was supposed to have gone with Siege and Storm, which is this green book over here, but I didn't have the time. I was in the said slump, and so I went with the manga again, and that was Fairy Tail Volume 1 by... Damn it, I don't have it written here. I'll put the name of the author here, but basically we're following Lucy. She is a 17-year-old wizard, and she's a celestial mage, and she just wants to join the Fairy Tail family, which is a guild. And there's Happy on the cover, and I know Happy has wings, but Happy is a cat, and most of his time in the anime is spent as a cat without wings, even though he sometimes sports them. So I am counting Happy as a normal cat, and that's why it fit for my Care of Magical Creatures, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love the anime, and I am almost up to date. I have like 10 episodes behind, but I really like the anime, and it was great to be back at the beginning. Last prompt, and the one I freaking struggled to make ends meet, was Ancient Runes, and the prompt was a retelling, and I went with Deceptively Beautiful by M.J. Paget, and this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, or sort of a retelling. Basically, this is book number 3 in the Brothers Grimm Guide to Psychopathic Princesses, and we're following the same huge amount of characters we have from the first 2 books, but basically we know that there's this evil witch that tricked everyone in Goldenstadt and Schwarz. You know, the main families from the 2 books. I have talked about the first 2 books before, but yeah, we're basically following a girl named Sierra or Sienna, something like that, and she is cursed into transforming into a werewolf because of this sad witch. And then she meets everyone from the previous 2 books, and yeah, I think I gave this book either 4.5 or 5 stars. My main thing with these books, and I feel like this is going to be a problem growing, it is that the amount of characters is getting so hard to remember. It's insane. From the first book we have 11 characters, and then, no, there's more than 11 characters. I think there's 15 characters from the first book only, and then you have like 6 more from the second, and then from this one you have like 5 more, and it's a growing family, guys, so that kind of makes it all different. But these were my owls. Even though with all the struggle and everything, I didn't make it to all 12. I really enjoyed vlogging and the magical hangout and everything, so I will see you guys back with the vlogs and everything in June for another readathon that I already have planned, and then in August for the newts. If you like this, leave a like, subscribe down below, and click the bell, because my posting schedule sucks and I will probably bombard you when I have vlogs. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!